It's Gabriela Batista from Homes Centrality, and this is a quick little video we're doing to introduce our first-time buyers to what the lending process is. And I have a fantastic mortgage lender partner today, Stacy from Keller Mortgage Canada. Introduce yourself, Stacy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here to talk to you a little bit about the proven path to homeownership.
Stacy, one reason why I brought you on is you do something really well, or the whole team does really well with Keller Mortgage Canada, is they do a really good job at educating first-time buyers and all my clientele when it comes to the mortgage process. It's something that when it comes to questions and answers, I always rely on them. They do a very good job on either taking on my clients, answering their questions, and my questions. I show properties really, really well, but when it comes to the mortgages, they're the experts I always refer to. So it's very exciting in that. Just to give you guys a quick rundown, hopefully I'll ask enough questions to give you guys a good first introduction on what the mortgage process is, some key common questions I get from clientele. And then, of course, when you're ready to move ahead, you have their contact at the end, and you can set up an appointment with Stacy and their team to talk about the mortgage process. So I'm super excited for that. I'll start with one of the more common questions I get, Stacy.
Yeah.
Especially when it's more of I would say, a mortgage question wide. But what would be the key difference of going to a mortgage broker versus a bank? Do they provide any lending differences? Are they the same? What would you say on that?
Yeah, it's a really important question. Dealing with a bank can absolutely be a great experience. There's nothing bad about them. They have great products, and sometimes you'll get great service as well. However, they only offer their products. So, for example, if you're dealing with Bank A and 30 days before closing, Bank B across the street has a rate special. Well, they can't tell you about that. And with a mortgage brokerage, a full service mortgage brokerage like Keller Mortgage Canada, we can. So, we deal with banks from A through to Z. And if we place your mortgage at Bank A, and then 30 days before closing, Bank E has a rate special, well, we can tell you about it, and we can help you secure that as well. So that would be the biggest point of difference. Yeah.
Yeah. The way I look at it, it's kind of just when it comes to a bank, they're working for the bank. A lot of the people there, they're maybe on salary, but they're working for the bank in the end. A mortgage broker is working for the best interests of the clientele, and they're going to find the best bargain, the best price. And oftentimes, they're even a better asset than when it comes to a real estate agent, because they're really shopping for the best deal when it comes to your monthly mortgage rate. So the next question I get a lot is, I don't want to say there's a stigma towards B lending, but it's something that is options for a lot of people, myself included, that have explored. Could you give us kind of a quick rundown between A lending and B lending, or even other kind of categories of lending, and maybe, destigmatize when people think of B lending? What does that really mean of secondary lending?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. With B lending, there can be more flexibility in terms of debt servicing, accepting certain kinds of income, credit history. And so the more there's a need for some flexibility in those areas, the more there's a need for a B or a private lender. They're not typically available through a bank. So the main difference between A lenders and B lenders would be, I guess the most pressing thing would be the interest rate. So A lenders usually have lower interest rates, and because of that, they're able to take less risk with who they lend to. So the products that they offer are more strict. If you don't fit into their cookie cutter model, then they can't help you. With B lenders, you'll have a slightly higher interest rate, and that allows them to take on more risk. So that means greater diversity in the products that they offer. And they're willing to take on more risk in the types of properties that they lend on and the people that they service. So a B lender can be a permanent solution for certain properties, or it can be a temporary solution for people until they qualify to fit into that cookie cutter mold of an A lender. And so B lenders, for those reasons, are amazing to have around. They really are a middle ground between A lenders and private lending.
I love how you mentioned a couple of things: flexibility, number one, and number two, temporary. My demographic in terms of clientele is a lot of first-time buyers, people who are getting into the market initially, and it's a very difficult thing to qualify nowadays. A lot of people have different situations, they're not very cookie cutter all the time, and as you mentioned, temporary is a big thing because a lot of times if it means getting into a property earlier than, let's say, waiting 2 or 3 more years to actually qualify in a very specific cookie cutter, that flexibility is worth a lot of money in terms of getting the market earlier, and then obviously allowing them to stop paying rent, get into the property looking for earlier on. And that's why I think there's a stigma for no reason, because it's a great opportunity for a lot of people.
That's right.
And the best thing to do is, especially with a mortgage broker, is to explore those options. It's A, B, whatever lending it is, even W, X, Y, Z lending, whatever it may be, just to explore what your options are. And that's what I think you guys do really good at.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we're here to do. You have to be well informed as a client. You need to know all of your options, all of the risks, all of the upsides, everything. And we're here to educate and inform and make sure that clients are really confident with the decisions that they have and the decisions that they make.
Amazing. So this question more goes into Keller Mortgage Canada in particular. Like I mentioned, a lot of first-time buyers that I service. What would you guys, as a mortgage brokerage, what do you guys do at KW Mortgage Canada that really supports first-time buyers better than anyone else? I mentioned earlier on educate. I know you guys do a lot of education. Could you tell us about some of the things you guys do that would, as let's say a first-time buyer was watching this, that they would really get excited about learning the process and what you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our goal is to work as a partner with you, your Keller Williams agent, to get you as a first-time home buyer into your first home as soon as possible. We offer the Your First Home webinar, which is a great way to start your journey and learn about the proven path to home ownership, which I talked about earlier. So we have a 1-hour webinar where we talk about the steps to buying. We cover financing tips. And we cover a lot of the creative solutions that are out there to get people into homes sooner. Thinking outside of the box is sometimes important, especially in the market that we're in right now, and really always. And so that first-time homebuyer webinar is designed to give you confidence and education, and help you feel more ready to move forward to the next steps.
So, but what I like about that too is I've sent clientele there are not, let's say they're about a year out, and they still taking a lot of value from that webinar. Just maybe they're not ready to buy a home, today, but they're still put in a good situation where they can feel confident. Okay, this is what we have to do to get to that point in our lives.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's the key thing. Usually, people ask me the question, when should I, contact a mortgage broker? And having that webinar and that kind of, not hand holding, but kind of walking you through the process. It's really not a situation where I'm ready to buy today. Let's contact a mortgage broker. There's much more support and education that goes along with the process earlier on.
Yes, and as you're saying, it's the Your First Home webinar is a great starting point. And if you feel like I want to buy a home, but I don't know if I'm a year out or what my timeline looks like, that can be a great reason to have a conversation one-on-one with us as well. Because like you said, it's not just I'm ready and you move forward. It's I'm thinking about this and I need some more information catered to my specific situation. I need to get an understanding of, do I qualify? What do I qualify for? If I don't qualify, what do I need to do in order to be on the path? And we can help you set those goals or tell you what you can do today or what you might need to do in order to be ready, and support you as Gabrielle would support you every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's well said. So another common question I get a lot from first-time buyers and people in general, what are the associated costs with a mortgage broker? Are there any associated costs, at least with your company in general?
Yeah, generally speaking, there is no cost to the buyer for our services. So that works out really well. A caveat to that would be that sometimes if you need private financing, a lender will charge a lender fee. But if you need private financing, we would provide that information upfront before you committed to anything anyway. So generally speaking, absolutely free service.
Yeah, and I would relate it very similar to how myself and a lot of real estate agents work in terms of businesses. Our consultation doesn't charge you a dime. We're here to help you.
That's
we're
right.
Very relationship driven. We're here to be an assistance as we can. In most situations, there really is not a cost to get started. Actually, there never really is a cost to get started in that case. So it's a good way to lift it off your shoulders. If that maybe is a barrier for a lot of people, and they may think, oh, I don't want to commit to something. For us, our conversation is what we provide to you. We don't have any obligation otherwise. So our goal is to be in assistance as much as possible.
Yeah. And to what you're saying as well, it's free and no obligation to get a pre-approval. So a pre-approval is where we confirm your income and your employment and do a credit check, and we can do a rate hold for up to 120 days so that you're protected and you can secure a rate for a specific period of time. It's the most powerful position to be in as a buyer when you're looking at homes. And the cool thing about getting a pre-approval is you're not locked into anything. You don't have to get a mortgage. You don't have to buy a home. It just gives you some security and it gives you some protection.
Yeah, absolutely. So the last question, which is, we talked a little bit about banks versus mortgage brokers in general. How do you guys, because I know, so Keller Mortgage Canada is the, I would say, exclusive partner of KW Agents in Canada. So you guys are a little bit different on that end. But give us kind of an understanding of what differs you guys from the average mortgage broker instead of, let's say, not a bank, but a mortgage broker versus you guys.
Yep. Yeah, so we there's a few things, to be honest with you. So it's one of those things where do I begin? First being that we are a part of your realtor's team, a part of Gabrielle's team. So you get a fully integrated, seamless, one-stop shop experience where your mortgage person and your realtor are really in synergy, working together to make sure that you're protected and that we put your needs first. So it's a different level of communication and synergy between your realtor and us. Our founding members have been top of the Canadian mortgage industry for the last 20 years. They have cultivated deep relationships with the top lenders out there, and we understand all of the mortgage products that are out there, and that can make the difference between someone being denied with their application or someone being pushed through. Just that level of expertise that comes with that many years of experience. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was just the way that we go above and beyond. We had a client that was using their RSPs as a down payment, and they missed the cutoff time. So they ran out of time to get their RSPs out by the time they needed it for closing. We were able to advance those funds to them so that they didn't have to worry about it. And we do things like that, if I'm being honest, all the time. Helping people bridge situations like that, giving people advances, making sure that we do more than the average mortgage brokerage can usually do. Most mortgage companies simply can't do that stuff. Well, because of our connections, because of the people at the helm of our leadership, we are able to do things like that on a consistent basis for people. And it's because we're here to change people's lives, and we have a real passion to do that.
Mm-hmm. I love the synergy that comes with Keller Mortgage Canada, where it complements what I want to do very, very well, because I want to provide people a seamless experience. And I feel like through you guys, it's such a great connection there, because I feel like from step A to step Z, we're very much, we're in touch, we're in tune. And someone who may, think of home ownership it's a very scary process. Our goal is to simplify it and make it attainable for a lot of people, where they may think homeownership is not possible, but to be able to have that communication and that dedication to the actual act of it is huge, especially for what Homes into Reality stands for. So that's very huge. Stacy, I appreciate all the insight you gave us today. I'll definitely have to be pushing this out to clientele. It's going to be something that I refer back to for days and years and whatever it is to come. How can people get in contact with your team? What's the best way that people can contact to either get it to the webinar or to set up an appointment? What's the best way to contact you?
I would say through you is the best way to do it. I mean, you're their direct link to us. So I would say reach out to Gabrielle, and we do have a website, kellermortgagecanada.com. But Gabrielle has access to the wealth building webinars, the Your First Home. We also do an investor webinar, and to connect with us. So I would say through you is the best way to do it.
I'd be happy to make that connection at the introduction, no problem. So, hey, that you heard it here first. You gotta talk to me before you talk to Stacy. So, make sure that happens first. But I'm sure we'll be able to get that done. Either way, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Again, this is Gabriel Baptista, Homes into Reality. I hope this is helpful, and I'm sure this will be helpful. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the day. Thanks soon, as always. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much.